here are some questions then on section 4.4. Problem number 49 says a block is attached to a spring and set in motion on a frictionless plane. Its location on the surface at any time in t seconds is given in meters by x equals square root of 3 sine 2t plus cosine 2t. For what values of t is the block at its resting position x equals 0? Problem 49 is no harder than any of the other problems in the assignment because it's basically just putting a real life situation to what we're already solving. So basically all it's saying is plug in x equals 0 and then solve. Find t. So then we need to figure out what we want to do to solve this problem and find t. We need to figure out how to get it to either sine or cosine, but not both. Any ideas? That's why Okay, so if we use a double angle identity for sine, we would have 2 sine t cosine t. And then if we used, oh yeah, I think the identities would work. Okay, I probably didn't give myself enough space. Okay, so 0 equals, let's go ahead and do our double angle identities. So this would be 2 sine t cosine t. I'm just going to put the 2 there, so it's 2 square root 3. And then sine t cosine t, so everyone see where I got that by plugging in. Here's 2 sine t cosine t is that double angle identity, right? Then for cosine 2t, let's use a different double angle identity. I have a hard time remembering these, but somebody give me the one that's just with cosine in it. 2 cosine squared x minus 1. Like that? So I'm replacing the cosine 2t with 2 cosine squared x minus 1. Okay, so now let's just focus on solving this. The reason I chose the one with cosine is that I realized maybe this isn't going to work. I was thinking we could factor out the cosine, but then we will still have a sine and cosine. So this isn't going to work as what I thought. Okay, anybody else come up with something that worked better? Okay, can we do problem 15 first? And we will come back to that. Give me a minute to let my brain muddle on it and also to find the solution manual page. Okay, so this one, it looks like all I've got so far is sines on this side, but a little cosine on that side. It would be easier if we just had sines or cosines. And it's really easy to change a cosine squared to a sine. Oh, well that might work. No, never mind. Okay, so let's go ahead and change our cosine squared to a sine squared instead and then move everything to the same side. So I'm going to replace the cosine squared with 1 minus sine squared. Does that make sense? That's a Pythagorean identity. And then I'm going to move everything over. So I already have a 5 sine squared over here. I'm going to add another sine squared to it to move it over to the other side. So that gives me 6 sine squared x. I don't have any additional signs, so just 2 sine x, that part stays the same. And then subtract the 1 so that I have 0. Well, isn't this a positive 1 already? And then I move it over so it becomes minus 1, right? Okay, then I should see if I can factor this. Let's see, 6 times negative 1 is a negative 6. Are there factors of negative 6 that will add up to a negative 2? So negative 6, we could do, let's see, negative 3 and 2, or 3 and negative 2, but that would give us a 1 in the middle. And we could do negative 6 and 1, or 6 and negative 1, but that would give us a negative 5 in the middle. I don't think that this is factorable. Okay? No. That doesn't mean it doesn't work, it's just not factorable. So that means we're going to go with x equals negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So we plug in b is a negative 2, so we go positive 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 2 squared minus 4 times 6 times negative 1. All over 2 times 6. Okay, so that gives us 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 plus 24, right? 28 over 12. And the square root of 28 is 2 square root 7. So that gives us 2 plus or minus 2 square root 7 over 12. And then 2, 2, and 12 are all divisible by 2. So 1 plus or minus square root of 7 over 6 if we divide everything by 2. So that gives us 2 possible answers for the time. The only concern I have is that 1 minus square root of 7 is going to be a negative number. And I don't know if we can have a negative answer for time. Is that okay if we have a negative answer for time? How do they leave the answer in the back? Oh, it's not time. I'm mixing up this problem with the previous problem. Because I started out doing a story problem, and then I skipped to the other problem that was not a story problem. So never mind, it's not time, it's just plain old x. So it can be positive and negative, and we're good, right? Oh gosh. I think I should throw this video away. Okay. So back to number 49, where, I'm going to rewrite this, so it's like square root of 3 sine 2t plus cosine 2t equals 0. I swear we learned something we could use on this last time, didn't we? Something we used on a different problem? This seems familiar.